Hi everyone, welcome back to the Dr. Sia channel. In the video here today, we're going to be talking about what someone once asked me. I was talking about attachment at this dinner with a friend of mine that we went there together, and a person that I didn't know too much about came up to me and said, "Man, I've been hearing you talk a lot about attachment. A lot of people are talking about attachment." I said, "Yeah." It says, why should I give a beep about attachment?" And I thought to myself, wow, okay. So I kind of explained. And at the end of that, that person said, oh, man, I had no idea. Okay, well, that's really important. Is there any book I can read on that? And I said, yeah, read a book about it. Here's a here's the book that I recommend. Well, I didn't carry the book with me at the party. It wasn't like I walk around at parties like, hey, But yeah, the Handbook of Attachment. It's a thick read. It's a thick, solid read, The Handbook of Attachment by Jude Cassidy and Philip R. Shaver, editors. I mean, do I recommend you read it? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to do in this channel, which is to kind of share some of the knowledge that's in this book. But hey, if you feel like reading it, go ahead. It's a great book. But apart from that, today, that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about why attachment. Why should we give an F about attachment? Let's get started. So why we should care about attachment? Well, because it affects our emotions, our relationship dynamics, how we behave, what we end up doing, what we end up suffering from or not suffering from, who we end up dating or we do not end up dating, where we end up going or not going. Attachment explains just about all realms of life, and that is why so many people have latched on to attachment as a theory, because of its extremely powerful potential to explain just about all walks of life. Now, for example, at work, attachment can explain why you engage in a series of certain patterns at work with your colleagues and why you wouldn't. It can be seen from the outside and it can be felt from within. For example, say you have an avoidant attachment. At work, a person who has avoidant attachment is likely to be very overly professional at work. They tend to be overly disconnected from their colleagues, overly focused on the work that needs to be done. And what happens there is that, yes, from a boss's perspective, in what I call a toxic organization, that might be appreciated because the person comes in, heads down, does the work, gets done, finishes up, goes home, everything good, we are robots. But if we don't look at it from a potentially toxic boss's perspective, that avoidant person would really not be getting much out of work because we are not just working machines. If you think about even during times of extreme slavery that's ongoing today or was ongoing back in the day, people would still connect to each other to reduce the impact, the horror, the harm, the harshness of their work. And they would do that through song or through stories or through some form of connection to whatever they were allowed to, whatever extent they were allowed to connect. People find that connecting to each other actually makes work life more bearable, less harmful, less painful. So this idea that, for example, avoidant attachment would come in and would affect the person in such a way that they would just be focused on their work and stay away from other people, heads down, do your work, and so on and so forth, really shows how, if we have a solid understanding about attachment, how we can then help that person overcome the behavioral, cognitive, and emotional patterns that they engage in based on those attachments to help them reduce their suffering in their work life, including your work life, my work life, and anyone else's work life. And typically that also involves being able to spot the defense mechanisms that come along with these attachments. Now, if you want to know more about attachment and defense mechanisms, there's a lot of that I talk here about my channel. I talk a lot about that on my channel here. And so in this video here, I focused mostly on work. I'll think about it. I'll see if you guys have comments. If you want to know more about why you should care about attachment, how it affects you in different walks of life, like relationships and social life and so on and so forth, let me know and I'll make a video about that too. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something about why we should care about attachment, and subscribe, share, let people know about what I'm trying to do here. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, and I'll see you again next time. I'll see you again next one. It's too early to make videos. It's like 7 o'clock. I'm tired. Anyway, I'll see you again for the next one.